Hundreds of students and activists have held an overnight protest in the Indian capital, Delhi, accusing the police there of forcefully entering a university campus and beating students. It followed a rally against a controversial citizenship law. Police insist that they acted after protesters began pelting them with stones and set vehicles on fire. Up All Night's Rani Singh can tell us more.
It's not quite a week yet. This really all kicked off 3 or 4 days ago with the controversial CAB bill, the Citizenship Amendment Bill that came in. This bill allows minorities from 3 Muslim-majority countries to have Indian citizenship, even if they've come in illegally. And these countries are Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. Now, this is extremely controversial because it's seen by many as anti-constitutional. Now, the Constitution of India prohibits religious discrimination on any grounds, and it's enshrined in the Constitution. So there have been protests all over in many places in India. In recent days, there's been reporting on Up All Night about protests that have been happening in the northeast in Assam. I was just there just a few months ago, and it's been worse over the last number of hours because there have been rigorous and violent eruptions in Delhi. And as I speak to you, there are protests going on outside a particular university in Delhi.
What I don't understand is why the government decided to bring in this bill in any case. You know, what was it that prompted it? After all, if they had left things as they were, the status quo, they surely could have been a worse position than they're in at the moment as a result of this.
Yes, the reasons and the why for and the wherefore are still not for me to say, and they're quite difficult to discern. A cynic might say, well, there are 2 elections coming up in early 2020 in the east of the country, in Jharkhand in January, and in Delhi in February as well. So it's that's not the main reason, of course. This particular government, the BJP, is considered to be one that has a Hindu agenda and will be protective of certain religions, but is considered to be not particularly concerned about Muslims. And of course, there's a huge population of Muslims within India itself. And questions are being asked as to, for instance, in Pakistan, there are Muslim minorities in Pakistan, like the Ahmadis, and you know, they're discriminated against. They feel beleaguered in Pakistan. Why are they not being allowed Indian citizenship? Why is it only non-Muslims from these countries, these 3 Muslim-majority countries that are being offered the citizenship? Why not, you know, Tibetans, for instance, from Tibet? So it is a little bit strange, and questions need to be asked. But I think the disturbing thing is the number of protests that have been happening today and have been happening over the last 24 hours. Now they're spreading throughout various parts of India. The most recent clash has been at Jamia Millia Islamia University, which is quite a prestigious one in Delhi, where there have been pitched battles between the students who were protesting and the police.
Yeah, so the demonstrations are getting increasingly violent. We know that. What's the government doing about it?
Well, so far it's being left to the students and the police to speak on it. And as far as activists also speaking on behalf of students and minorities. The government is saying that, it will protect minorities and everybody in India is safe, but it sounds a little bit mealy-mouthed. I'd like to tell you what's been happening today. In fact, the students started off peacefully protesting, and the ugly thing is that it's not clear as to whether there are some opportunist mobs taking advantage of this situation as well, because by the time the police came, there was stone pelting, and it wasn't clear who was doing that, because the students claim that they were doing their protesting against the bill very peacefully. And soon the police had pitched up with batons and tear gas. And outside the campus at this particular university, 2 buses were set alight. And there's been a lot of injuries as well. Several policemen and several students have been injured and are in jail, are in hospital, with some of them with very, very serious injuries, head injuries, and young students, deprived of medicines because they were detained. And activists are pleading for the movement, the protest movement, to remain calm, to remain non-violent. There were students in the Jamia Millia Islamia University complaining that they had gathered peacefully, but the police chased them into the library and hostels. And there's a Hindi word, garaud, which means the same as kettling. So the students that have been on the media complaining, they said that they were kettled effectively, and they were very scared. And the tear gas now, with the protests going on outside police headquarters as well, all night, the police have been on standby with tear gas and water cannon, and this has now spread to 4 other universities and 3 or 4 other states around India. Now, in those particular states, which includes Jammu and Kashmir, of course, historically over the last few months, this is an ongoing situation, but the internet has been closed down and mobile connectivity is very, very limited. So, and further protests are predicted for the rest of Monday. So it's not stopping anytime soon.
Rani Singh,